Thanksgiving is next week, and the Barnstable Senior Center wants to make sure seniors stuck at home will still have a holiday meal. And we chat with Finance Director Mark Milne about creating a 10-year financial forecast. On this episode of Barnstable Today, it's Thursday, November 17th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mannel. Next week is Thanksgiving, and the Barnstable Senior Center will be hard at work making sure no one is without a holiday meal. Director of Senior Services Madeline Noonan says the annual Turkey Trot is an important program for some local seniors. Talk a little bit about an event that is very heartwarming. You guys make happen every year, the Turkey Trot. Tell me a little bit about this event.
Oh, this is just a wonderful event, and I believe that we're now in our 14th year of providing this program to seniors in our community that are alone for the Thanksgiving holiday. And, you know, for those of us that have family and we will be celebrating, you know, and eating and enjoying each other's company, we sometimes take it for granted that there are many seniors in our community that don't have family close by, or some that don't have any family at all, that will be spending the holidays alone. And so a number of years ago, our outreach coordinators, Claudia Borden and Judy Red, had an idea because we have a full commercial kitchen here at the Senior Center, and we do offer a lunch program here every day, well, Monday through Friday, but obviously for Thanksgiving we're closed, and so you know, we can't provide that meal when we're not open. And they had thought, why don't we cook a meal and deliver it to the seniors that are home alone, you know, for the holiday. And from there, that's really where it took off. We have had every year this hugely successful program where we provide a delicious, you know, fully home-cooked meal that we prepare and deliver to 125 seniors in our community. And it's not just the meal. I mean, every year we get more thank you cards from this one program because seniors feel so appreciated that they weren't alone throughout the holidays, and that they were thought of, and that a volunteer paid them a visit and brought them, you know, this delicious, you know, meal. And it just means so much, the fact that we can bring this. And we couldn't do this at the Senior Center without the community support that goes into it, and also the volunteer support. So it really is sort of, you know, you feel like you're doing something bigger than all of us that has just, you know, it's so meaningful, and we're so honored.
How do you identify the seniors that need the meals?
So we put a call out through our outreach department in our Compass newsletter that goes out to the community to let people know, if you yourself would like to receive a meal, if you know of a friend, a family member, a neighbor that you think could benefit from a meal, please let us know. And we do have a lot of people that do receive the meal year to year, so we call them to, you know, ensure that you know, that they still want to receive it. And then we basically put it together, and we ask, you know, so it's not too late. If you know anybody, if anybody out there wants to give us a call, you can call us at 508-862-4754 and request a meal for somebody that you know, and we'll be happy to provide it.
In an effort to plan for the future of the town's financing, Finance Director Mark Milne is putting together a 10-year financial forecast. To learn more, Channel 18's Sarah Colvin chats with Finance Director Mark Milne.
Getting ready to look into your fiscal crystal ball and and create that forecast for the next 10 years. So talk to me a little bit, Mark, about why this is done.
Yeah, this is a requirement of our charter, actually. That every year we have to prepare and update a 10-year forecast. And so this time of year is when we start this process. Actually, we started it a while ago, but we're wrapping it up now, and we plan to have a document finalized sometime in December, at which point we will present it to the school committee and the town council, and at a joint meeting between those two boards in January, we will provide a brief overview of what we see coming. And of course, that's very difficult to do in today's environment.
Absolutely, and certainly, you know, you never know. The financial landscape is ever changing. Of course, we're looking at a pretty significant leadership change on the national level. So is that something, Mark, that comes into play when you're looking at potential, you know, financial impacts over the next decade?
It does, in a sense that, you know, we try to gauge, you know, certain actions at the federal level and how they trickle down and impact us at the local level. For example, the Federal Reserve and setting the rates for borrowing rates, and so that has an impact on typically in what we'll see in future interest rates on our bonds that we issue, so it's very tenuous right now. We don't know what's going to happen at the federal level with the election just being over and with the new president-elect coming in and what his fiscal policies are going to be. They could be significantly different than what we have now, which could impact us directly in a sense that education funding could be cut, for example. We receive about $3 million annually directly from the federal government in education grants, and about $275,000 in CDBG grants. How those would be impacted by the new administration is yet to be seen. We have to look at every level of government. We try to monitor, what's happening at the state level. Of course, you've heard stories about them not hitting their revenue targets and how might that impact our aid from the state. And so it all trickles down eventually to the local level. But what we've seen, the trends in the past have indicated that when something happens at the federal level, it takes about a year to 18 months to hit us at the local level, and when something happens at the state level, it takes about 6 to 12 months to hit us at the local level.
Sure. So, Mark, what other indicators do you look at, or what other things do you consider while putting together this 10-year forecast?
Well, we look at our new growth, our new building growth over the past 20 years and try to get a sense as to where new building growth is going, not only from a historical perspective, but what's taking place currently in the community. We've seen a lot of new building growth recently with the improved economy, and that's showing itself, revealing itself in the new building growth figures that we're seeing, building permit issuance, tax assessments, and so we watch those trends. We watch what's happening in the auto industry. We see all of our local auto dealerships making improvements to their properties because the auto industry is at a boom right now. They're selling more cars on an annual basis, and we're seeing that here locally. In growth in our motor vehicle excise tax. How long can we sustain that remains to be seen. Again, that decisions made at the federal level could impact that significantly. What happens with borrowing rates, for example, gas prices. Typically, when we see borrowing rates and gas prices go up, people stop buying cars and buying big, expensive cars that are gas guzzlers. So, there's so many things that could impact this, and they're very difficult to project, obviously. So, we looked at trends over the past 10 years and tried to play that out over the next 10 years to get an idea of one possibility, but there are an infinite number of possibilities.
Sure. So do you ever take a look back at the forecasts that you have created to see how accurate they are?
Yes.
And by the tone of your voice, I'm sensing that they aren't always very accurate. Mark.
Actually, they're not too bad. They're more accurate on the expenditure side than they are on the revenue side, because the revenue side, it's difficult to project what's going to happen with new building growth over the next 10 years. So many things could impact that. Ordinances could be adopted by the town council that impact new property growth either positively or negatively. Like, for example, 10 years ago, I think it was, when they adopted 2-acre zoning. That's going to have a significant impact on residential property development if you need 2 acres now to build a house. So you don't know what's going to happen along those lines.
Well, be sure to tune into our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 8 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will chat with Director of Leisure Services Patty Machado. We will chat with General Manager of the Hyannis Youth and Community Center, Joe Izzo. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.